You're going across the country. What are the caregivers saying to you?
The caregivers are overwhelmed. That's mostly what I'm hearing. They're looking for resources. They're looking for information. And they are so busy doing what they have to do just to get through the day that they don't have the time or the energy. So I say to people, go to these different websites for resources. But if you're dealing with a specific problem, cancer, Parkinson's, whatever, go to the national organization first. Find out what research is, the newest research that's out there, what they have in the way of brochures and information, then to go to your state level so that you get whatever the resources are that are local and more are in your area, and then look in your immediate area and your community, because somewhere there's transportation information, there are groups that you can join, there are support groups. I know when my sister died of cancer, gave us group therapy sessions, family sessions, and individual sessions. And I took full advantage of all of that to help me through my grieving process. Even though I'm in this business, it was the impact was enormous. And I found wonderful support. So there are resources out there, but nobody comes knocking at your door and say, "Hi, I have a resource for you. I know what your need is. You have to open my door and I will give this all to you." No, you have to really diligently dig and get the resources that you need that are specific for your need, and only you know what those needs are.
But I'm so tired. There's so much to do. Where should I start, Dr. Marion?
You start with yourself. I say to caregivers, there's being angry and guilt-ridden and all of that, all those negative emotions are a waste of your time and energy. What you need to do is take care of yourself. Just like in an airplane, when an airplane stewardess is telling you about the safety features, and she says when the oxygen comes down, take care of yourself first, and then take care of the person that you're caring for. It's the same analogy. Because if you as a caregiver fall apart, then who is going to take care of the people in your life that need you?
Right.
It's not selfish to go out and go to a movie or get a pedicure or whatever makes you feel good. Or
say no sometimes.
Oh, that's a biggie.
We talked about that earlier at breakfast. The boundaries. And we've talked a lot about that on The Unexpected Caregiver. That setting up those boundaries, not instead of volunteering to do things that you can't do or you have no business doing because you feel, there's that word guilty. Or that you feel badly or whatever.
I have worked with some caregivers that we have actually practiced in front of a mirror saying no. I'm saying no to my sister. I'm saying no to my brother-in-law. I'm saying no to whoever. And they practice. I sit in there and we together practice saying no till they feel comfortable to say no. And sometimes you can say, no, I can't do it. I don't have the time. No, I can't do it. I don't have the finances. But once they get comfortable saying no, they get better at saying no.
Right.
And then other family members have to come in. And if family members, for whatever their reasons are, can't physically help, then say, all right, then put your hand in your pocket and make some money contribution toward this issue. We can hire somebody to clean the house or do the grocery shopping or what have you. But it cannot fall on one person. And very often it falls on one person, usually the female. 85% of the caregivers are female. And very often what happens is the relative who is the furthest away from the situation has the most information and the most advice to give to the person who is already working 48 hours a day.
Exactly. So phones them up and lets them know how it's run. I know. So but we can't talk about. I love you're using the term shaking up. You actually shake. Do you shake some shoulders?
I have. I've taken physical. When somebody's just standing there with this blank expression, like I can't move. I can't do. I can't. I take them by the shoulders and I gently shake them, physically shake them, and say, "I'm telling you, you can, you will." These are the ways we're going to do it. And then I work out a schedule, what they can do, what they have to delegate out. And if they can't delegate it out, then they have to find some resource either within the community or within the family. And sometimes family members will help, or a neighbor will help if you tell them, I only need you to take her to church one day out of the month.
Right.
So that another person who wants to be of help, but they don't want all of their time sucked up, will volunteer, with a little encouragement, volunteer.
Right.
once a week or once a month, 2 hours, a grandchild come over, go visit your grandmother, you stay, or you do something very specific.
Right.
Not necessarily just sit next to her and stare at the television.
Right.
That's not a visit.
Right.
But do something that is going to help that person from their needs.
And a lot of times what I suggest to family caregivers is if they're getting into the situation, and that's half the problem because they don't believe they're getting into a caregiving situation. We've talked about that whole need to raise awareness that, yes, you are becoming a family caregiver, is to start writing down lists of tasks that you know that you have to do, that you could easily, when that person comes knocking on the door saying, what can I do for you? You can say, here's my list. Any one of these items.
Well, I wrote a book called Elder Care Made Easier, and I wrote it in steps. It's the thinnest book I could get 40 years of information into. It is really thin, and I wrote it in steps, not in chapters. I wrote it in steps specifically so that the individual who has so little time can get the information that they need. And I start off with communication.
Right.
Because if you're not able to communicate your need or how to communicate well with the person that you're caring for,
right,
it goes nowhere.
That's right. And sometimes that communication, I talk about, that's actually my first chapter in my book too. I talk about that whole need for, sometimes it takes more than one time to start the conversation.
And also when you're talking with an older person, you give them one question and you wait for the answer. You wait for them to process the question, then you wait for them to process their answer. So it takes a lot of patience, but you're honoring that older person so that they feel you're really listening. Because if you do one question and the second and the third, they're still processing number one and you're on 3 and 4, and that's when frustration starts happening.
No, you're absolutely right. So these are some of the messages that you're taking along on your tour, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The need is enormous. The information is out there. There are a variety of resources for people, but they have to do their homework.
Yeah.
And no one solution fits everyone.
Right.
There's no one size fits all. Each person has to find out what it is they need, be very honest about their needs, and how much they can do. There comes a point where you can't do any more. And you have to know when enough is enough.
And you've prepared for your eventual potential needs?
Well, as I say to my audience, every generation has a 100% mortality rate.
Yes, exactly.
So, especially when I'm dealing with young people, they look at me in surprise. Well, hello, I didn't think about that. But what happens is I am so organized. My children don't appreciate, or they're not capable of appreciating that. I have every piece of paper anybody needs in order. I have my long-term care insurance. I have all my assets lined up. I have my lawyer lined up, my will, my healthcare proxy, my durable power of attorney. Anything that I need in the way of legal papers are all up to date, and I review them every 3 years because what happens, I've dealt with the elderly for such a long time, and they say, yes, everything's in order, but then I find the lawyer has been dead. For 5 years,
Exactly.
Or the executor, who knows where they are, and they may have the papers, but nothing is in order. And unless you are very specific and you have everything written out in a legal format, your wishes as an individual will not be carried forward.
That's right. That's right. We have a little song that I want to play here that is the theme of this music, or excuse me, of your tour that you're on, 3 and 4 Need More. But I want to, as you're listening to this song, I want to remind listeners that you can go to 3and4needmore.com/contest and take a look at that contest that is going on to help a caregiver family situation in need. You're having struggles, $50,000 worth of product and services that'll help your caregiving situation.
It's not the years in your life, but the life in your years. What keeps it smiling between your ears? I guess it speaks to my frame of mind tonight. But I feel alright. Yeah, I feel alright. Well, this old bus keeps on rolling along. She's got a few extra miles, but she keeps going strong. We'll keep moving till the day becomes the blue twilight. 'Cause I feel alright.
the theme music from the tour 3 in 4 Need More. I'm here with my guest, Dr. Marion, who is on this tour, started out on the East Coast, heading to the West Coast.
Absolutely.
And now you're right here in the heart of the country, in the Midwest.
It's beautiful here. Your town is gorgeous.
Love it here. I love it here. I'm going to flip back. Before I do this, though, I'm going to remind people of 3 in 4 Need More website and One Reverse Mortgage. They're the people that are sponsoring this tour.
Yes.
Excellent. And you can follow the tour on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
And Dr. Marion
and
website.
Dr. Marion website. Absolutely. In your book, Elder Care Made Easier, which, by the way, listeners, if you go to unexpectedcaregiver.com, you know that website. That's my radio website. And you click on the contact form and give me a story about your caregiving situation. I will send you a copy of Elder Care Made Easier today. In the conclusion of your book, you quote one of my favorite people, former Swedish Prime Minister Dag Hammarskjöld. And he said, life only demands from you the strength you possess. Life only demands from you the strength you possess. We do have a lot of strength, don't we?
I fully believe we have all that we need to meet any of the challenges that come our way.
Mm-hmm. But we have to be awake to the challenges.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're talking about. So, Dr. Marion, we will continue our good work of, as you say, shaking up America so that we can face these challenges with what you said before the music faded out, with a lot of humor, right? And fun.
Fun is the name of the game as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. So make sure you follow Dr. Marion on 3 in 4 Need More, and we will have you back again. We'll continue our conversation. Thanks for joining me on the Unexpected Caregiver Radio Show. I'm Corey Barrett, and until next week, remember,
I can't wait to come back.